ראש חודש אדר.
Yes.
Adar comes in, it's a sign of happiness, spiritual happiness. I wanted to speak today, the topic we picked, how to handle challenges in everyday's life. In the last 20 years, there's a very serious movement of tshuva in the world. Baalei tshuva, many people become more and more religious, coming closer to religion. And on the other hand, the ones who were not religious, there were some traditional, they went very far away from religion. Things that people used to be embarrassed of doing 20 years ago, they're not embarrassed anymore. 20 years ago, a secular Jew was embarrassed to marry a Christian girl. He had an embarrassment. Today, nobody is embarrassed. He marries her, he brings her to the shul, he comes with her to the rabbi. He has no embarrassment. He's not aware of this concept of doing something wrong. What am I doing? Everything is fine. The world is open, everyone is equal, there's no difference. He doesn't understand what God says in the Torah. Therefore, there is no embarrassment involved. Also, stealing. People used to steal. They'll make sure they hide very much. Today, they steal in your face. No one is embarrassed. They steal. There's nothing you can do. What can you do to me? Nothing you can do. There's certain things in the world that is not the same. Religion is also not the same. What does it mean? Because there are so many new religious people that join the religious party, so many, the problem is that many of them are not real. They're not real. Maybe they want to be real, but they fake. They try to be real. I'm not saying no, but they're really not religious. They do a little bit. They eat kosher a little bit, only when it's comfortable. They give tzedakah here and there only when they made a lot of money that day or that week. They keep Shabbat half and half. Most of the laws of Shabbat they're not even aware of. It's really not real. And what's the problem is, because this kind of people live in double standards. They live two kinds of lives. So a portion of the week is religious, and a portion is very not religious. That's why today you find religious people that half of their day learn Torah and prayer and do all kinds of things, and the other half of the day watch naked ladies on Facebook. And they have no contradiction in their life. You know, they just finish Yom Kippur, and Motzei Yom Kippur they go to Manhattan to watch a movie with a new actress that forgot how to dress already 10 years ago. You understand? And they don't feel the conflict. Now let me explain to you the difference between a Baal Tshuva and a Frum from birth. Someone who grew up religious all his life, in a real religious environment, such as Litvish, Hasidish, Sfaradi, but real religious. Parents are ultra-Orthodox, they never saw television, none of these electronic toys, everything was extremely modest. In a neighborhood you could not do anything that smells not religious. And they now starting slowly to go down with the influence of society. In the beginning they feel horrible. The first time a very religious guy see what Facebook is, then for a day or two he feel horrible. Then the next time he has an opportunity to see, not as horrible. Third, fourth, fifth, after a month, no problem whatsoever. He got used to it, and then 2-3 months later he's addicted to it. 10 hours a day he's on it, 10 hours a day. Wherever he is, in a subway, at work, in a house, all the time connected to it, he took away his life. No wonder why Israel is the #1 country in the world in Facebook. #1. And Israelis spend more time than any other person in the world, any other country, on Facebook. A total addiction. You can say that it's maybe has to do with the very friendly mentality of the Israelis. You know, that right away everyone meet each other and 2 minutes later they're buddies. Yeah, that's the mentality. That's how it is in Israel. You meet someone in a bus stop, he's your best friend the next day. Come to your house. It's the only country in the world that people come knock on your door and walk in without calling and making a month in advance an appointment. When I came to America 22 years ago, I just showed up to some people here, and they look at me like I'm a robber or something. I didn't know. Over here, you don't show up. You have to make an appointment and then confirm the appointment a day before and an hour before and make sure. And you first knock very slow. Maybe, they're not in the mood for you. But that's it. So he has to do something with it. But after all, it's a problem. Someone who becomes religious, it's not so simple for him to leave his old habits. He's used to it. So he's trying. It's not that he's not trying, but it's not so simple. The Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is holding very strong. And we find him doing to a certain limit, and then he say to the rabbi, Rabbi, up to here. That's it. That's my limits. So the question is, how, for those of us who were more religious, now they're on the way down, and for more of us who were not religious and they're on the way up, we all have things to correct, whether you're on the way down, whether you're on the way up. You may be not up enough, and before you go all the way down, maybe it's time to stop yourself and make a reverse, a U-turn. So the question is how a person can handle, how can he can handle all the challenges that we have in life. Problems, work, marriage problem, children problem, problems with yeshivot, problems with synagogue, problems with my rabbi, problems with my friend, so much pressure. Well, how a person handle it? The answer is there are two magic wonders, mamash wonders, that can help a person to adjust to the right direction every second of his life. Without that, there is really no hope. And I'm giving you this advice. I'm sure you heard it at least 10,000 times before. But I'm here to remind you what you already heard. And if you don't realize that it's the only way, there's just no other way. What is it? Every day to make sure that I'm connected to the Torah, that it's like a person that has an infusion in a hospital. You cannot disconnect it for 10 minutes. You can be dead already. The person has to realize, I must be connected to the Torah just like it's oxygen. Just that I'm connected to breathe, and I'm connected to food and to drink, and when I need bathroom, I must go, because there's no other way without it. Just the way I am with all these things, I have to make sure that I'm connected to the Torah all the time. Now, how a person that works and has a family and needs to pay a lot of bills, how is going to have time to be connected to the Torah? The answer is that a person has to realize that today Hashem made the world very simple and very easy to learn Torah. In the old days, the only way to learn Torah was to walk 2 hours away, or with your donkey, or if you're lucky, if you're rich, you have a horse, so you go all the way to the rabbi, far away, and you have to, obviously, you go over there. There was no books like today. Only the rabbi had a book. Everybody else had to make notes with a feather. They had to have a box of ink. They go like this. The rabbi speaks the Gemara, and they write a little bit, and there was no papers. Papers, today it's very cheap. You go to Staples, to any store, you buy 1,000 papers for a few dollars. The old days, there was no papers like today. There was a paper like the Sefer Torah, the scroll, and it was very expensive because it's letters from animal. You got to remove the air. You have to process it with lime. It's a whole big thing. So that's why that was very, very difficult that most people didn't have books. Only the rabbi in town had the books, and not all the books. Even Rabbi Yosef Karo, the writer of the Shulchan Aruch, most of the books we have today did not have. He admitted that when he wanted to go to find a book, there was one rich guy in Tzfat, and he had to go to his library and stay there all day, because the books was like diamonds. Nobody will let you take the books out of the home. So just to go there all day with a little candle and see, and write what he had to write. It's not like today, you click on a button, everything comes on your computer in a minute. You put a topic, it brings you all the books ever spoke about this topic in 1 second, what will take you 5 years. 30, 40 years ago, it will take you 5 years. Today, it's a click of a button. Another thing is we have recordings. You can be working and listening. You can be working and watching, depending on the nature of your job. For instance, if you own a store, There's not all the time customers. Customer come in, out, there's 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there. You can always be connected to a lecture. You show Hashem, my life is your Torah. I cannot live without you. Everything else for me is burden. Whether I make $1,000 or $5,000 an hour or a day or whatever, I don't care about this. For me, I want really to be connected to your Torah. The customer come, I have to make a living. That's the way you made the world. I put the Torah on pause or my recorder on pause, and I do what I have to do quickly, hoping the customer will find what he wants, 1, 2, 3. Let him go. He wants discount, I give it to him. Just get out of here, and that's it. That's already a direct connection to the Torah. If a person would live like this, it will be very easy for him not to make sins. The problem with us is that we go too long without Torah, and I have to understand, Torah, it's like a sgula. It's like purifying magic. The more you are connected to the Torah, the more you build inside of you holiness and special energy that makes you very strong against your evil inclination. It's almost like it doesn't exist. But you go 8, 10 hours a day, Jamaica Avenue, Mr. Williams, Mr. Jackson, Harlem, Manhattan, naked ladies, goyim all day, eating hams next to you, cheeseburger on the other side, this one, cursing. 10 hours without Hashem, of course. Of course, at night you don't want to learn, you don't want to come to pray, of course. Very difficult for you. Why? You are already cold. You have to stay hot or warm, not less than warm. Hot or warm. You're already becoming warm. You must heat yourself right back. This is what Hashem said to a Jew. Im ta'azveni yom yomayim me'ezveka. You leave me one day, you will feel disconnected from me for 2 days. The Vilna Gaon say, if a person would learn straight 3 hours and 15 minutes a day, for sure he will be one day a big Talmid Chacham. It's not a lot. You still have plenty of time to work, to do business. 3 hours and 15 minutes straight. I don't know how he came up with this calculation. This is a giant. Thousands of us combined will not be 1% of him. So just for you to understand who we are talking. This is a rabbi who wrote the Torah in reverse, by memory. Reverse. You know what does it mean to write the Torah in reverse? Imagine you have to memorize a telephone number of 305,000 digits. You know a person in the world that can remember such number? What's your telephone number? 304,805 digits. In reverse. You understand? This is who we're talking here about. So the Gaon Vilna say, if you learn straight, no interference, no getting up, no bathroom, no tea, no speaking to someone, not falling asleep for a minute or two, straight, deeply, all your mind is in, you guarantee to become somebody big. Also, you should know, if a person learns 2 hours and 2 hours, or a person learns 4 hours straight, which one benefits more from the Torah? 4 hours straight. It's like putting a teapot on a fire, and it needs 10 minutes to boil. If you put it 5 minutes, took it off for 2 minutes, and then put it 5 minutes again, and the other person put it 10 minutes straight, which one killed all the germs inside the water? The one who boiled the water. The other one did not do any good. The water got to 60 degrees Celsius, went down to 10 degrees, went back again to 70, and that's it. And then went down to 0. But in the Torah, it's like a snowball. The more you learn, the more the energy is built up. What we call energy, it's really holiness. But there are certain things who ruins all the holiness of the Torah. What is it like? You fill a lot of water in your bucket, but there are holes in the bucket. So you got to close all the holes. The hole number 1 is cursing. Person who is bad-mouthing, speaking bad words, like the goyim, all kinds of words that they have. Every other word, they have this word. Even intelligent goyim. A Jew say it, he can lose 70 years of learning Torah with 1 curse. Did you know that? 70 years of learning Torah, 1 curse takes away all the energy you build. You don't lose the reward for learning, don't get me wrong. Whatever you learn, it's waiting for you for the afterlife, the reward. But the holiness of what he built, you can lose it in a minute. Also looking at non-modest things. I'm talking especially for the men. Woman is also not allowed to look at things that God hates. But by women, there's no modesty problem like a man looking at a woman that is not modest. Woman looked at her, it doesn't ruin her neshama like a man. But a man, it's create right away bad thoughts. And the Gemara say, Hirhure avera kashim min avera. Bad thoughts sometimes can get to a level that they are worse than the actual sin. Because the actual sin will be 10, 20 minutes. The thoughts can go hours and hours and months and years and who knows how. It's never going to end. So the thoughts contaminate the soul. That's why a person is very difficult for him to connect to Hashem. What's the second thing that we must have every day? We must work constantly on our Emunah. And there's a very common problem today that many people think that once they reach a very high level of Emunah, one day or 1 week of their life, that's good. I did. I learned this. I learned Chovot Alvavot. I learned Garden of Emunah. I learned all the chapters of Emunah. Every word that was saying about Emunah I read. I read 20 books about it. So I already reached to a very high level. True. But it was only for 2-3 days. What is it like? The same teapot. After a few hours, it's cold completely. Emunah doesn't stay. It's not something you gain, it's by you forever. A person made a plastic surgery. He got rid of his ugly nose. So now his nose looks much better, even though most cases it becomes worse in these surgeries. But let's say he got lucky, and it worked out for him. So a person has now a nicer nose, that's it, it stays by him. Doesn't have to work on that every day. But certain things in life, it has to have constant work. What is it? To build holiness. It can never end until the minute you die. 1 minute before you die, you still have to learn Torah. Did you know that? Read in the Rambam, the obligation to learn Torah. A person who runs and collects charity to feed his children, really they don't have nothing to eat. It's not like today, even the poorest families still have bread or something to eat. They won't starve to death. Yeah, the food will not be delicious. They don't have sushi. They don't have steaks. They don't have barbecue fish. But piece of bread they have from yesterday, from 2 days ago. How much is a loaf of bread? $2, $4 or $5. A family can survive. They won't die. They'll eat bread, nothing else. Millions of people ate bread until a generation or so. What do you think people had? Pita, they put it. That's what they ate. Look at the Yemenite kitchen. Everything they eat is bread. Nothing else. Everything. Malawach, dough. Jachnun, dough. Fatut, dough. Why? There's nothing to eat. It was a very poor country, very primitive. You had to be creative. What can you do with flour and water? They did pretty well, right? In some countries, they were more lucky, like the Persian, Bukharian. It was wealth over there. But in some countries, really nothing to eat. That's it. It was poverty. Which country did better on Judaism? The wealthy exiles or the very poor exiles? Poor. The Yemenites up to this minute, now when I'm standing here in front of you here in Roslyn, New York, speaking to you tonight, from the time of Moshe Rabbeinu until today, once the first Jews arrived to Yemen, and they built a community there, which was one of the strongest community in Judaism, until this moment, never ever, there was one Jew on the land of Yemen that ever was Mechalel Shabbat, violating Shabbat. Not even one ever until today. Did you know that? Never in the history of Yemen. I just spoke to the Yemenites who came to Muncie 10 years ago, still walk with the Arab clothes and all this. You see right away, even their little girls cover their head like Arabs. The little girls. Slowly, slowly, the Hasidim force them to take it off. Hey, you're in Muncie, it's America. Take it off. You make our girls in school don't feel comfortable. You know, we want you to get rid of the $5,000 a week that you're going to have in 5 years. Why are you going to go like this? We don't want Fatma and Saida here. We want Christine, Jennifer. That's what we want. You know, that's the truth. It's funny, but it's sad. So they don't let them stay like they was for 2,000 years. Well, one thing I tell you, I asked them, tell me in Yemen, there's ever a story of a Jew that wasn't Shomer Shabbat? They laugh when you ask them that. I can't even believe you asked them this question. Never. Ever. You think a Yemenite Jew ever went to a secular court for a lawsuit against another Jew? Like it happens every minute here? Only to the rabbi. Mori, what should we do? That's it. Mori. They only knew the Mori. Not the... Even if they try to go, the Muslim judge will send them right into the rabbi. Won't be allowed. All of a sudden you come to me? What? Everyone goes to the Mori. Why you come to me? Not allowed. They don't judge them. You have to go to the Jews to judge you. You understand what's happening? So, to build Emunah, every day it's a battle. And where does it say it in the Torah? Veyadata ayom, you should know today. To know Hashem, to know the Torah is real, to know Hashem run the world, it takes a minute. Veyadata ayom, today. No, you don't need to work. 1 or 2 things, you see right away, nobody could write it. Only the creator of the world, end of story. But that doesn't mean that much. To turn it into actions, such a difficult mission. So that's why Hashem wrote in the Torah, Veyadata ayom, you should know today. Ve'hashevota elevavecha, and you return it into your heart, that Hashem is the God and there's no other. Min hashamayim ishmiacha et kolo leyasreka. You heard his voice from heaven to be strict with you, to show you his way, for you to follow his way, to follow his Torah, not to make sins. There's many, many verses in the Torah that shows that we have to have Emunah, and Emunah it's difficult. And Hashem say, after everything you saw, you still don't believe in me? Still have doubts? Everybody asks this famous question, how can it be that the whole entire nation that heard God and Moshe speaking, and it's guaranteed that it happened, how do you know for sure God and Moshe spoke? Maybe somebody planted it into the Torah. Maybe it's a myth. Maybe it's like Islam. One person came from the desert, Muhammad, he brought the Quran, end of story. Nobody ever saw, you have to believe. Or in Christianity, in a church, you have to believe. Father, how do I know JC fed 500 people with 1 piece of bread? We have to believe. We're not allowed to ask questions. But the Torah doesn't say it. The Torah says we don't have to believe. We have to know. The facts, we have to know. The behaving of God with us, we have to believe. On the facts, there is no emunah. It's a very common mistake by the public. They think that what's written in the Torah is a history, as a fact, as a dialogue that took place, we have to believe. No, if you believe, that means you don't have 100% certainty. That's not what God says. All the details in the Torah, we know 100%. If you have doubts, you come to me, I'll show you how can you know 100%, 101%. What God promised us, we have to believe. Why? Because in reality, not always we will see what the Torah promised us that we will get. For instance, the Torah says someone who gives tzedakah, it's a positive thing, and it makes the person parnasah, make a living in a much easier way, which means he's going to be more wealthy if he's going to be generous and give tzedakah to people, donations. So it's going to make his life much easier. But many people can raise their hand and say, wait a minute, I've been giving for months, for years, and all I'm doing is losing. I really didn't make any more. And he's not lying. I'll tell you a story that what happened. I mean, this Shabbat, I was in Shabbaton, and there was one rabbi from Israel. And the rabbi from Israel told me a story. He's collecting money for charity for people in Bet Shemesh. It's a place very famous now in Bet Shemesh, a very, very religious place. So he collects money and he feeds the poor families of Bet Shemesh. Gives them boxes for Shabbat, for Yom Tov, all this. And he goes around, you know, he comes to America, he goes to Mexico, Brazil, and he met many wealthy people over the years that are constantly supporting him. So he has one businessman in Mexico, Syrian Jew, He's a gold trader. He trades gold, sell gold. And he has a big safe in his office full of gold and cash. Big safe. He comes into his office and he said to him, look, I have to feed hundreds of family. Pesach is coming. It costs me such and such. He calculated how much I need every month. More than $100,000 a month he needs to feed all these families. And they really depend on him because they make X amount of money. It's not enough. 10 children, 12 children. Poverty in Israel and in other countries are much worse than America or Europe. You have to understand that. What here consider poverty, in Israel it's middle class. You understand? What's in Israel consider wealth, to most of the people, over here it's hardly middle class. A person here to survive, a family here, a Jewish family in America, needs minimum $12,000, paying tuition, car, insurance, mortgage, food, right away, more than $10,000. Person in Israel who makes $12,000 is a very wealthy man. Very wealthy man. It's considered, wow, one of the top 2%. Over here, you still need food stamps after all the expenses that we have. So it's a different world. So he feeds all the families over there, and he comes to the Syrian guy, and the Syrian guy say, okay, I got the point. He takes out $26,000 in cash. Lots of money, no? He gives it to him. Chag Sameach. May all the poor people have a great holiday. Very nice of him. Then, next time the rabbi comes there to Mexico, they ask him on Shabbat to give a lecture. There's a few hundred people over there. He speaks to them on Shabbat. And this person who gave him a month ago the $26,000 in front of everyone got up and said, Rabbi, you're talking about the importance of tzedakah to the poor people, and guess what happened? An hour after you left my office last month, Mexican goyim came in with machine guns and robbed my entire safe. Everything. More than $1 million they took. In gold and in cash. Everything. So, this is the reward that God paid me for giving so much tzedakah? Now, imagine you speak, you come to convince people about the importance of a tzedakah, and a genius guy like this get up and ruin the entire evening, waste your entire time. What is the rabbi is going to say now is going to make any difference? People already are influenced by his comment, no? That's the way people are. The negative is always more attractive than the positive. So the poor rabbi, he told him, why don't we talk about it after the lecture, you and I? Okay. It's needless to say the rest of his lecture it was not so productive. Then he was in Mexico for a few days. A few days later, in the middle of Mincha, he was praying Shmona Esrei. In the middle of Shmona Esrei, you're not allowed to disturb a person. Not to touch him, not to talk to him, you have to wait. Even a snake on his leg, he cannot move. But, you know, this person was so excited. You know, sometimes when you're so excited, you cannot wait. So he comes from behind him and grabs him by the shoulder like this. Rabbi, Rabbi! He said, Shmona Esrei. Rabbi, you're not going to believe what happened. Doesn't care now, Shmona Esrei, nothing. Tefillah. He said, the insurance, after they told me they're not paying for my case, I got confirmation from them, $2.5 million they paid me. He lost $1 million, and they paid him for the value of the gold and all that, $2.5 million. Now, this is something that is very interesting, because when it happens, what does the person think? Where are you, Hashem? All your promises in the Torah, I don't believe anymore. Now I saw in my own eyes it's all fake. This is the way the person thinks. With the help of the Satan. You see? Satan in the ear always, the Satan. You see, it's all the rabbi is making up. Stories. Now all the people know he gave a lot of money and he lost money. And they all right away say, you see, the more you give, the more you lose. In reality, not only he did not lose, he made a lot more. But that's also not a good sign. If a person gives tzedakah and get right away a few days later a lot more, it's not a good sign. If God pays you in this life, that shows that your mitzvah is not in a high level. I don't have a doubt that the only reason God sent him the $2.5 million is because he got up in front of everyone and told the rabbi, you see what happened to me? If he would not talk, he would lose the million. Hashem would give it to him in the long run, that it won't be obvious. He won't lose it. After 5 years, 6 years, slowly, 10,000 here, another deal, 2,000, 5,000, 20. In the end, he would get it extra. Because nobody ever lost from doing what God told him to do. No one, ever. And no one will ever lose. But one thing we have to know, the fact that Hashem gave it to him right away, that's a sign that he paid him in this life for this big mitzvah that he did. All the families who ate in the holidays thanks to him and was able to learn and to be happy on a Yom Tov, he got paid in this world and not in the afterlife, which is eternal. One time I went to a different country and I spoke to a person to donate for the CDs. I just made up the CD. I told him I need to make many thousands of the CD. It's $1 each. If you want, it's going to be a big zchut. Everyone will start keeping Shabbat, mitzvot, going to be all yours. So he said, no problem. I'll give $10,000. 10,000 DVDs in one shot. Very nice, right? He donated, he wired the money. That was a start. Great to start. You just make a master CD. Right away, within 2 weeks, you have already 10,000 copies to give for free. Then he had some problem. He bought a building and real estate collapsed and the bank wants to take it away and penalty and this, all kinds of problems. So he called me up and he said to me that, you see, I gave so much tzedakah and look what's happening to me. I'm losing a $3 million building. He never gave the money. He only gave down payment. 80% he owed the bank. But now, when the value of the building went down by half, I wasn't paid to continue to pay the mortgage. You know, in Beverly Hills, half of the people start paying their mortgages. Don't cry for them. They still have what to eat. It just doesn't pay to pay. When they bought the house, it was $8 million. It went down to 3. Why I'm going to pay for a value of 8,000? That's how they think. When the house worth 3, doesn't pay. Let's go foreclosure. Let them take it. Big deal. I'll buy another one for 3. Why I'm going to pay for 8? That's called a default by choice. Not that they are forced, like many people cannot pay for their mortgage because they don't have what to eat. But some of these people, they choose to default. The only thing they do not know that in Shamayim you owe everything you stole, even from Goyim. In Shamayim there's no foreclosure. In Shamayim there's no short sale. Unless if the bank called you and told you that they're forgiving you for the rest. You made a deal, settlement, they took it, no problem. But if you did not make settlement, you owe the money. And if it's a Goy, you owe the interest also. If it's a Jew, you get away with the interest. Because Jews not allowed to collect interest from each other. But if it's a Goy, you still owe him the interest. Yeah, you think you got away with that. Not so fast, my friend. You took it, somebody's going to lose this money, no? You owe him the money. It's as a Goy in Zimbabwe, invested in this insurance company. The stock went down this year from 40 to 30. Why? Too many cases like yours. He lost $10 on his stocks, multiplied by 10,000 stocks. He lost a lot of money. You owe him money. You owe him money, you owe her, you owe everyone. Hashem knows the calculation. He has a very sophisticated computer to know who owe who what. But this guy from overseas that sponsored the CDs, I saw that he's crying so much for doing the mitzvah. If I did not make the CDs yet, I would send him right back the money. Problem is that I have boxes full of CDs. What am I going to do now? Send him CDs? If I had the money, I'd send it to him right away. Don't want your money. So I told them, listen, call the bank, offer them $600,000 for the building. It's worth $3 million. The value of the building 2 months ago was $3 million. So come on, they'll make fun at me. What, 600? I told them, just do it. They'll take the deal, don't worry. Whatever you gave, you're going to get 100 times more. He called after a few days. How did you know? They took the deal. I'm not going to have to leave the building. All kinds of stories. I hang up the phone. He was happy and dancing, and I was crying for him. Say, this fool, he thinks that it's good thing what happened to him. He doesn't know Hashem took the endless reward, trillions of mitzvot that will get done from the 10,000 DVDs that go to so many Jews who didn't know who Hashem is, didn't know about Torah, Shabbat. Now they started to keep that. He was supposed to get every one of him for life of eternity. Hashem say, no life of eternity. Take cash right now. You invested 10,000, take $1 million. Leave me alone. Where does it say it? The last 3 verses in Parashat Vayetchanan. Parashat Vayetchanan. Go to Parashat, last 3 verses. I am the strict God who pay the wicked people cash to their face to get rid of them. I will not delay the reward. Pay them immediately. So next time, if you do something big, and 10 minutes later something very big came to you, don't dance. It's not a good sign. Wow, Hashem is paying me here? There's a very famous story about Rabbi Yonatan Eifshitz 250 years ago. He was learning with a redhead, learning Gemara, and across the street they started to build a church. In front of the yeshiva, they couldn't find a better place. They want all the rabbis who learn Torah now, when they look to the window, they see the big cross on the building. So, you know, redhead people, their blood is boiling. It's hot temper. One person came to his daughter. He said, "Dear honey, I want you to promise me one thing." She said, "Yes, Abba. Promise me you'll never ever get married to redhead people and to bald people. Never marry a bald husband and never marry a redhead husband." She said, "Redhead, I understand, because they have hot temper," she said. "But why not bald?" She said, "Maybe they used to be redhead." How do you know? Redhead, it's a stigma. They have hot blood. So his chevruta really is redhead. He see this, he said, "I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to cut that cross tonight. I'm not going to let them keep it in front of us." So the rabbi told him, "What do you think? They're not ready for you? The same way they made it in front of us for us to see it and to get upset, they already put somebody to watch it, don't worry, because they already think what's going to happen." I told him, "I don't care. I'll do it l'shem shamayim, for Hashem. Catch me, fine." In the middle of the night, he come with the lamp. 250 years ago, there was no flashlights. So he come like this with the oil lamp, like this, in the middle of the night, with the sword to cut it. 4 of them were waiting with a big sack. They put the sack on his head with a rope. They tied him, took him to the basement of the church, very deep in the ground, disappeared. There's like a bar over there. They put him behind bar. The next day, he didn't show up to yeshiva. The rabbi already knew what happened. He said, "This guy never missed yeshiva. With fever he comes. He always here. He never missed a day." Right away, they ran to his wife. "What's with your husband?" She said, "I thought he stayed in yeshiva all night to learn. Didn't come home." It happened from time to time. "No, he didn't come home." "Ah, he didn't come home. We know what happened." So they came to the guard of the church. Said, "Listen, we know what happened. We want to release him. What's involved now?" So the guy said, "Let me check. I'll let you know." Then he come to the rabbi. He said, "Rabbi, I know where he is. They caught him. You're right. That's what happened. And I'm going to release him for you. If you give me 100,000 rubles, like $100,000 today, let's say. You give it to me, off the table, I'll release him. I give you my word." So the rabbi said, 100,000? Where will I get such an amount? "Okay, give us a few days to collect." So, "Okay, when you have the money, you let me know. We'll do the deal." So Rabbi came to the yeshiva. I say, "We have pikuach nefesh. It's a life risk. Everyone close their Gemara and go to all over town and collect. All over town. Collect, collect, collect. You come here, we collect the money, we got to release him. What can we do?" So everyone went, one all full day. Nobody came back yet. Next day, time is running out. He said, "Well, you know what? He knew his wife has in her safe a lot of diamonds, jewelry from her parents, nedunya." So he said, "I got to take everything from the safe, but my wife, what's going to be?" He said, "I don't care. I'll take it, and then we worry about the problem later. Let's first save his life." So he took all the money and the jewelry, and he went to this guard, and he said, here is all the money, you have even more. This jewelry, diamonds, take it and let him go. So no problem. In a few hours he comes out, but you have to understand, he has to leave town. If he's going to stay here, they'll kill him, because they're ready to kill him. So he has to leave town. So no problem, we'll smuggle him to leave town to go to a different town. So they released him. He sent him right away, far away. And then he said, now my wife going to know that I took all the money from the safe. I'll be dead instead of him. So let me go a week. Let me go for a week. By the time I come back, she'll chill. You know? Otherwise, who knows what's going to be. I'll go a week, I'll give her time to relax, and then I come back. So he came back after a week. He comes like this, nervous, comes in. His wife says, wise guy, welcome home. She's all dressed nice, dancing for him, hugging him. I missed you, where did you go? He said, something is wrong here. She said, don't worry, I know what you did, don't worry. Took away all my money, all my stuff, come, see what Hashem sent us. She takes him to the room, huge barrel, open, takes the cover off, diamond, bracelets, rubies, pearls, money, cash, rings, everything. He said, what's all this? She said, few hours after you ran away, the guard from the church across the street came here all crying, where is your husband, where is your husband? I say, my husband is not home, he went, I don't know where he went. So he say, this is for your husband. Apparently, it was one of the priests. Priests not allowed to get married, so they don't have children. Over the years, he was stealing from all the people from the church. The people of the congregation, a ring here, over there, money, this, pearls, everything. He was stealing from them. So over 30 years, he collected a big treasure. Now they found out he's the one who released the Jew. They said, no problem, we execute you in front. You're a traitor, you betrayed us, we'll kill you. They said, I have a few hours until they kill me. Tonight is my execution. And who will I give it to? So I saw that your husband is such a righteous man that he took away all your jewelry, everything, to save only somebody that is his friend, is not even a brother. So who deserves the money more than your husband? So tell your husband, all the money he gave me, it's also here. And all the money of all the people of the last 30 years, it's all here. Tell him to promise to pray for me, for my soul. So now what would you do if you come home after a week, you gave 100,000, you got 3-4 million? Most people would dance. What happened? He fell on the floor and started to cry. No, why Hashem, why? She said, what's wrong with you? Instead of be happy, you are crying. He said to her, we have a rule. What's the rule? If Hashem pays a person right away, that means he lost his reward for the afterlife. That means the mitzvah wasn't pure. Now I'm thinking to myself, what reason Hashem has to punish me and not pay me in the afterlife, pay me cash here? What reason? The answer is, I did not wait for all the guys who ran and collected money to participate in a mitzvah. I took it all for myself. I sent them all to collect. Instead of waiting for them to come back, everyone with his money, I took my money and gave everything to him. And that's why Hashem gave me everything. Oh, you take away the mitzvah? No problem. Today, when somebody comes to you to collect tzedakah, go to my neighbor, he just did a very good deal. Oh, go over here, here is a good guy. I'll tell you, I'll give you a number of my friend. Instead of running after him, come, don't go to anyone, come to me. Today it's the opposite. I'll tell you, I have a list of people, they'll give you everything you need. In the old days, people used to kiss the Sefer Torah with their mouth and give tzedakah with their hands. Today, people kiss the Sefer Torah with their hands and give tzedakah with their mouth. They come like this. No, he doesn't want to kiss. Maybe there's germs. Somebody else kissed. God forbid. You know, but they give tzedakah with the mouth. To give tzedakah with the mouth means to give, but not to really pay. Just to say, the end of the year come, nothing. The person did not pay. So going back to what we say, remember, you must be, men and women, connected to Torah all the time. Whether it's recording, whether it's in a subway, whether it's in a car, whether you're alone in a house, reading, everything just Torah. The more you learn Torah, an hour, 2 hours, half an hour, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, adds up. You get to a certain level that from that moment on, every sin that you want to do would look like mud in your eyes. 100%. And if a person doesn't work on his Torah and Emunah every day, there is no chance whatsoever to be successful in the mission in life, to inherit the ticket that Hashem promised us for life of eternity. Why? When you don't have Emunah, it connects us to many other sins, such as stealing, cheating, lying, laziness, working extra, depend who you are. Some people kill themselves at work. Why they work so much? Why they 11 o'clock they come home? They can see the wife, they can see the children, their marriage is horrible. Everything for the money. So when you ask him, why you work so hard? He say, I'm in a deficit of $200,000. I have to get the money in 2-3 months. If not, I'll default on my business. Why people put themselves in so much pressure? Because they are addicted to materialistic life. He doesn't want to drive a $10,000 car. He has to be 110. Cannot drive a simple car. Drives okay, believe me, we'll get to LA if you need. He drives. No, he must have a Mercedes or a BMW or a nice Jeep. He doesn't have sometimes what to eat, but he has to show off in his community that he drives a nice car. I know a guy drives Mercedes, and he told me, do you believe me that I don't have money to put gas? I said, so why don't you get rid of the car? He said, no, in my job, I must have it. My customer judged me by how I showed up. Of course, it's an excuse. Because if you don't want your customer to see your car, you park it away 2 blocks and you go to the meeting. You don't have to see your car. It's all baloney. He just want to show off. One guy came to me from Great Neck and he said, I met a girl and we wanted to get engaged, but she doesn't want to get engaged yet. I say, why? He said, because I don't have a car yet. I say to him, are you kidding or it's a joke? He said, no, I'm telling you. So I said, what's the problem? But why she wants a car? She said she wants to know that we'll be able to go around to places. I said, so what's the problem? Get a car. What? He said, no problem. I can get a car. I told him, you can pay $200, get a nice Honda, a Toyota, Camry, something, 200, 220, you get a car. It's not the end of the world. No, Rabbi, if I'm already paying $220, I'll get a Mercedes. I said, no, but Mercedes cost 3 times more. What's the difference? 250 or 600, it's the same thing. I didn't leave him alone. I said, no, you don't get this Mercedes. You get a simple car, but it drives good, don't worry. No, Rabbi, but our community, nobody would look at me. I won't be able to go to her parents to tell her that I want to get married. You understand how low we went? Somebody like this, is marriage going to be good? There's any chance that their marriage going to be good? If a woman tells the guy, I don't want to get engaged to you because you don't have a car, how the marriage going to look? In 2 years from now, let's say he has $2 million cash to give her now. But in 2 years from now, business is not so good and he went down. So what's going to happen to their marriage? Right away it will be over. Where does it say it in the Torah? אהבה תלויה בדבר, סופה להתבטל. Only ahava that is not dependable, love that is not dependable on anything, will remain forever. Any love that is dependable, that it's depending on something, the something is over, the love is also over. Let me give you an example. A woman went on a date with a guy because she saw in a shul that he drives a beautiful car. She wanted to be a princess. If not in, at least let's enjoy. I didn't grow up like this. Finally, I have an opportunity. She doesn't care so much about the guy. As long as she's going to sit nicely in a nice car and she comes in front of her friends, everyone will be jealous with me. That's what I think about. How big is how many carrots I'm going to have? I hear these things sometimes. I don't know if to laugh or to cry. I mean, how it became an obsession. People are obsessive with this nonsense. What kind of watch? What kind of suit? One guy told me a few years ago, I want to take you to a place to buy you 5 suits. I said, why? He said, the community where I want you to speak, everyone over there wear $10,000 suits. I don't want them to think that the rabbi is less than them. Because if they'll get the impression that your suit is not like them, or your watch is not like them, or your car is not like them, they're going to say, you see, religion, it makes you poor. Who wants to be religious? We want to be successful in business. And look at the rabbi, what car he drives and what suits he wears. And he wasn't joking. He meant 100% what he said. Did you ever hear in a history that in any Jewish community, somebody would have to say such a thing and he wouldn't be lying? If he was lying, I said, this guy is a fool, fine. Or he wasn't lying. He knew his community. He knew what they care about. And they call themselves religious. For that, their punishment will be more than their sins. For the chutzpah, that they call themselves religious. For that, I promise you, this is what Hashem said. For the chutzpah that a person has, I will punish him more than the sins. Where does it say it? Hineni nishpat otach al omrech lo chatati. I'm going to judge you for the nerve that you have to think that you did not commit sins. More than the actual sin. For saying, I'm tzaddik. I'm shomer mitzvot. I'm ultra-orthodox. I'm very religious. And in reality, it's mamash chiloni. Chiloni. So, if a person has something that he connects to a woman because of material, such as her body, only her beauty, nothing else. Beauty is not a problem. If it comes with a deal, very well. But there are much more important things than that. Devotion, spirituality, generosity, modesty, holiness, chesed, so many important things that comes way before the look. He doesn't care about any of that. We'll deal with that. That's why 3 months later, everyone gets divorced now. Do you know, someone told me yesterday in shul, between Mincha and Arvit, one Ashkenazi man in Monsey sat next to me and told me, you know that rich guy? Apparently everybody know him. I didn't know him. Somebody very famous. I say to him, no, you didn't hear about this guy? He's one of the wealthiest people in the whole area. I said, no, I never heard of him. He said, guess what happened to his daughter? He said, no, not to his daughter, to his son. Guess what happened to his son? He got married in $1 million wedding. $1 million wedding. And in the night of the wedding, once they arrive to where they arrive, he texts his friend, I think I made a mistake. The next day, they already started to take care of the get. Imagine the disaster. You're a very rich, wealthy guy. Everyone knows you in a community. You have a son. He meets a girl. You spend $1 million on a wedding. You make your show. Now you eat your heart for why did I spend? Not the money. The money, million come, million goes. With these people, it's not a problem. It's not the million. It's that now everyone talks about the wedding. And the wedding is annulled. So the bigger the wedding was, the more it was used against you. If it was a simple wedding, in a week everyone will forget that wedding. And nobody will talk about it. But now when people come to you on the street, oh, Mr. X, we heard your son had the nicest wedding ever. In the meantime, he's divorced already. Do you understand the embarrassment? This is what's happening today. Someone else told me that now in the religious world, in the last few months, the statistics show that 1 out of 3 couples get divorced first year. 1 out of 3 in the religious world. In the Orthodox world. Do you understand what it means? That everything that happened to the secular, 5 to 10 years later, happened to the religious community. By the secular, it's already more than 70% divorce rate. So by the religious people, it's 30%. Give it 10 more years, it's also going to be 70%. So what's going to be? In the end, we won't be able to get married? What's going to be? We're raising children, we try to teach them, and in the end, what's going to be? And I promise you, it's all connects to the 2 things that I told you. Torah and Emunah. No Torah, no Emunah, Nonsense control your life. Remember, no Torah, thank you, no Torah, no Emunah, there's nothing instead, only nonsense. What did he wear? What did she wear in a wedding? What kind of flowers? What color? Who set it up? What band? What orchestra? What kind of jewelry they gave the things? Nothing, only nonsense. How they did the deal? How much they got the mortgage for? Not one word of wisdom come from his mouth, the entire year. Or from her mouth. Not 100%. This is what's happening now. I promise you, if you really care about your soul and you care about Hashem, you must connect to the two things I say. Every day work on Emunah. You know, I have few CDs that I listen to Divrei Musar. Each one of these CD I heard more than 100 times. I could also say I know it by heart already. I know it by heart. But it doesn't matter. Every few days I have to put it in. Why? It reminds you of what needs to be done. Believe me, you think, oh, I know it by heart. No, no, no. Many people become big shots. They hear lectures about proofs and Emunah, and then 2-3 months later we move on. We're now listening to much higher level. Yeah, you listen to higher level, but you don't have any Emunah. What's going to happen with your level? 2 years from now, you go back to be secular. You don't have the foundation. You don't have the foundation. Now, let me tell you another problem that we have now. People that starting to become religious do not have a guideline and directions how to become religious. They don't know. They know whatever they hear, they do. But they don't really have someone that explains to them what needs to be done. So sometimes we find a person that is supposedly only 6 months Shomer Shabbat. He is doing things that a rabbi 40 years teaching Torah in yeshiva is not in his level. Every day I go to the mikveh. Every day I go to the mikveh. Who are you to go every day to the mikveh? What are you, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? Rav Ovadia Yosef doesn't go every day. You go every day? No, I heard that rabbi say mikveh every day. Fine, mikveh is very important. But there are much more things that are more important. Shabbat, Tefillin, Tefillah b'minyan 3 times to go to the shul every day. Work on your integrity, honesty, tzedakah, watch your eyes, your relationship with the girls, how you clean your life, Emunah in Hashem, and the most important thing, Torah. None of that it takes serious. Mikveh every day, hocus pocus. Now what happened with these people? I tell you. If they would do everything else I mentioned, plus they do things above their level, fine, I understand. I understand. It's not making such a big damage. But because they are feeling, I am in 6 months, like Rav Ovadia Yosef already. I passed him. See? He doesn't even go. I heard that rabbi doesn't go. Only on Friday he goes to the mikveh. I'm better than him. That's what he thinks in his heart. And he really believes it. In a million years, he won't get to the level of the other one. But somebody got to his head. Ooh, this is a midat chasidut. So he thinks, I'm a chasid. Yet he doesn't have aleph bet. He already jumped to Z. Start with ABC first, my friend. Put your feet back on the ground and recognize who you are. You are minus, or maybe you are 0, maybe. And act according to who you are. You're not someone who learned 60 years Torah non-stop, Rav Eliashiv, so now you're thinking, will I miss a day mikveh or not? Or will I go to a wedding or not? There's a wedding, my friend in yeshiva get married, it's bitul Torah. It's not for me to go. Tomorrow he gets married, and some of the guys from the yeshiva didn't come to his wedding. He comes to the yeshiva the next day. Everyone should know I'm very, very disappointed from you. I thought you were my friends. Half of you didn't come to my wedding. I felt horrible all night. Just a week ago, he gave a speech. To go to a wedding? I learned 2 or 3 more hours Torah. It's bitul Torah. What? I'm going to do 1 mitzvah and I'm going to lose 3 hours of learning? If you're really honest, you should be very happy. Not only you will not invite your friends to the yeshiva, you put a big sign. Please do not come to my wedding. I have my Persian family, they come, don't worry. You stay and learn Torah. Why? I don't want, because of me, 30 guys would close the book for 2 hours. It's 60 hours of Torah. I don't want to be responsible for that. Don't come. If you like this, no problem. For you to go, not to, this is what's happening now. It all comes from one reason. You know what it is? It's all about pride. Pride. Whenever you see a new Baal Tshuva does strange thing, it comes from one negative source. Pride, ego. Show off. That's the right word. Show off, like the little kids. You know how the little kids come, they put tefillin of their father, they put talit, and they make faces. They want to get attention. It's not only the little kids. There are people like this, 30 years old. It's all a show off. 2 months he shomer Shabbat. He prays in a synagogue, half an hour. The rabbi, the Rosh Yeshiva, 6 minutes. Him, half an hour. Why? All show off. Nothing else. When he's alone in his house, he didn't make it to Minyan, 3 minutes he pray. Only next to people he makes a show. Everything is external. It's all a show off. None of it is real. A person has to build himself in the right order. You first learn the beginners, kashrut, what's allowed, what's not allowed, what's OU. I know people, sometimes they come to my house for Shabbat. Rabbi, where is the mikveh here? I say, you have to go on Shabbat to mikveh? You always go to me. Sfaradim, they don't go to hot water. No, it's okay. My rabbi told me it's mitzvah, it's very good, fine. Then I see him sitting in a table. He doesn't know if to make bracha on grapes, not to make, what bracha achrona. Things that kids in kindergarten knows, he doesn't know. He doesn't know mamash elementary things. But God forbid I'll miss this mitzvah or this or that. Now we already have a sidur of the mekubalim, kavanot harashash. One time I saw a guy, went to the Kabbalah Center, Shem Yirachem. He came to us to Monsey, Rosh Hashanah, wear all white, like a mekubal. Right away, I say something doesn't smell right here. This guy, he's not exactly in yeshiva, he's already mekubal from Bavel. He came over there, I see he goes like this. All kinds of things he does on his head, this. I said, what is this guy doing? Maybe as a book that I never saw before. Then I say to him, what is this? You go like this, you go like this. He said, no, that's what they told us, the certain sfirot, Kabbalah. I begin to tell him, I said, you're not allowed to go to this place. You have to go to a place that teach real Torah. What? You're Baal Tshuva? What are you doing over there? How many years you go there? 7 years. Then they serve cakes. And I say to him, tell me please, what bracha now you have to make after you ate this cake? And he said, you don't have to make bracha, it's not bread. I said to him, no, it's bracha, mamash, I'm telling you, you just ate 2 ounces of cake in less than a minute. You have to have bracha achrona. What bracha you have to say? I'm sorry, I didn't know you have to make bracha for this. I thought only you need bread. Which means 7 years he is involved with some learning, and he doesn't know what my little 5 years old know by heart already. Why is it? People do not have the right direction. Why people don't use their head to know all this baloney Kabbalah institution, all of them fake and all of them crooks? Why people don't open their eyes to see? If they will really be real, they teach you how to keep the everyday mitzvot. What are they teaching you about the angel and Olam HaAtzilut when you don't know what bracha to say on water? They put this thing on your hand, $2,600, this book, $2,000. What is all this nonsense? Come at 3 o'clock at night to the kotel, we go to a certain mikveh by the Arabs. Over there, we all go in, all the goyim and goyot come, men, women, all together come. Kabbalah. What Kabbalah? This is a prostitute. What Kabbalah? Teaching her Kabbalah? She works in a prostitution home and she's not denying it. She's a movie actor. Every one of her movies, she's nude in front of millions of people, teaching her Kabbalah. Do you know the condition to learn Kabbalah? Read. The founder of Kabbalah in the last 500 years is the Ari HaKadosh. They also admit that it's all the Ari. Who has to learn Kabbalah? Married, finish the entire Talmud, Shas, Poskim, Rambam, Shulchan Aruch, Chumash, all by heart. 40 years old, married, have children, already not have desire like a teenage, don't eat meat all week, mikveh, all kinds of things. They start to learn Kabbalah. What is this? Take a prostitute that the whole world understands she's a prostitute, and you make her sit inside the place when the Sefer Torah is there, with her dog next to her, and Vini the goy next to her, and you teach them Kabbalah, and you disgrace the name of Hashem, and nobody makes a beep about it. But that's not only the crooks. We have people among us that go and get the wrong advice. Everyone who starts become Baal Tshuva, you have to teach them, first of all, if he has long hair, like a hippie, you have to tell him, you have to cut off your hair. It's no respect to look like this, like a Jew. That's not the culture of Hashem. And the things, slowly, slowly. You don't focus right away on how he dresses and what kind of hat he's going to put. Leave him alone. It's not his level. Don't make him grow a beard. 6 months, he's Shomer Shabbat, right away you see him come with a beard like Israel, Chacham Sasson Mizrachi. What is this? Then 2 years later, he takes it off. Half of them takes it off. Because they get tired, because they stop getting the attention. The beginning was very exciting. Oh, you became a rabbi. Give me a bracha, give me a bracha. 2 years later, nobody excited from them anymore. So they lost the effect of the ego. So they take it off. Oh, now people give them attention. Oh, you took it off? Negative attention. It's all baloney. If person does not sit and learn Torah, everything else is nonsense. And that's not only men, it's women also. Women must learn Torah. They have to learn the law of modesty. They have to learn the law of nidah. They have to learn the law of kashrut. How to cook, how to check for worms, what allowed, what's when it's frozen, when it's not frozen, what's flat, what's not so flat, all kinds of things that applies to them. Raising children, what they're allowed to show them, what not allowed to show them. Many, many things women has to learn. Many of them know they have to go to college because they want to help the husband support the family, so they go 6 years to college, and in the end they never learn simple laws for the house. Law of modesty. A woman 20 years religious, she doesn't know how to get dressed. And finally, when a kosher rabbi tells her, you're not modest, she gets offended. 20 years, nobody told me. Now you think you know everything? But he's right. Nobody told you because nobody really cared. But here is finally somebody who cares, and she get offended. Why? Because she thinks, how can it be? 20 years, nobody told me. Now he comes and thinks he knows. Nobody told her. That's why she thinks that the way she dresses is fine. Skirt is too short, too tight, clothes, this, that. You understand? That's what's really happened. I want to explain to you now. There is one more thing that is very recommended. Talk to Hashem all day. Talk to Him. Whether you're in a car, whether in a house, whether you say Shema and you go to bed. Talk to Hashem in your own language. It's more productive than reading from the Siddur and thinking about your business. Because when a person knows it by heart, most of the time he doesn't think about what he says. And when you pray to Hashem, it's very important to have your mind on what you say. And since you already know it by heart, you forget. You find yourself, you know what, when a person when a person say Tfilat Shmona Esrei, what bracha he has to say before, you know? Before he says Shmona Esrei. He has to say Birkat HaDerech. Like when you go on a plane, Birkat HaDerech. Why? He starts, Hashem Sfatai Tiftach, tomorrow I have a flight to Israel. I'm going to go to Yerushalayim, the Kotel, 20,000 people, special Rosh Chodesh Adar. Then, Baruch Ata Hashem, Magen Avraham. Then he continue, Ata Gibor Le'olam Hashem. Yeah, but wait a minute, the airport, wow, it's crowded. 6 o'clock, Varazano Bridge, traffic, will I make it? Let me call, what time is my flight? Baruch Ata Hashem, Hakel HaKadosh. Then he continue, he goes like this. What time is my flight? Wow, I have to change it. Where was I? Modim anachnu lach. It's very hard to focus. Talk to Hashem in your language. Help me to be close to you. Look at me, how many years I'm gonna grind water. 20 years I grind water, I still have the same water here. Did not achieve anything. Help me out. Get me out of my hole. Get me out of my misery. Get me out of my nonsense life, out of my fake life, out of my lies, out of my pretending and the show off and all these things. Make me more generous. Help me to break my heart in front of you. Take away all the negative from me. Help me to be a better husband. Help me to find a kosher wife. That's what a Jew has to do every minute of his life. What do you think you came to the world to? Talk to Hashem. Just talking to Hashem, it's a huge mitzvah. Not less important than giving money. And a lot of money. When you give a lot of money, you feel great. Wow, thanks to me, the yeshiva is running another month. Very nice, big mitzvah. Talk to Hashem, it's not less. The more, the better. Gemara says, הלוואי ויתפלל אדם כל היום. I wish the people who doesn't learn Torah at least stand and pray, talk to Hashem all day. Learn Torah, you don't need it. You have your prayers and finished. Some people tell me, Rabbi, I'm doing it bodedut. From 5 to 6, I do it bodedut. I say, and what do you do in the bodedut? Tell you the truth, I don't know. I heard that it's good to do. I say, we all do it bodedut 3 times a day. Better you learn Torah than wasting this hour, sitting somewhere with yourself.
What is bodedut?
Bodedut means you close yourself in a room or you go to the forest and you scream, Abba, Father, save me, I'm deep, help me out. In the beginning, it's exciting, so it's real. Because you really feel, first time it's exciting, but after a month, it's like a robot. Plus, we already have 3 times a day that we're together with Hashem. Why you think when we pray, we don't scream, Hashem, sfatai tiftach, ufi agitilat, help me. Why everyone not screaming in a shul? Because this is an intimate moment between the Jew and his Creator. And Hashem doesn't want everyone to know what you add to your tefillah or what you pray and how you pray. This is you and him. You are together with Hashem, nobody else. That's why nobody scream. Imagine someone, Hashem, tomorrow I have to do this and this. The customer coming at 9, make sure the deal happens. His competitor here, in the middle of the davening, Mr. Lee, come to me, I give you half price. No, it's you and Hashem. 3 times a day. You want to pray 6 minutes? Very nice. 10 minutes, even better. Don't make it long because you show off. One time I went to pray by the Hasidim, 10 to 1 at night. Last minyan, kites, summertime, last minyan, chatzot halayla. There were 8 Hasidim, I am the 9th one, and 1 Yemenite guy. 1 Yemenite guy. Now you know how they say in Israel, זה לא רואה בעיניים. This guy doesn't see. Head to the wall. Nobody's going to move him away from his way. So everyone goes to each other. No, you pray, you pray, you pray. You, no. Nobody wants to pray. They look at me. No, me and my Israeli accent. There's Hasidish over there. So I said, no. So they look at the Yemenite guy. Until today, they'll never forget that moment. They say to him, no, you. Oh, me? Okay. He takes a talit. 1 o'clock at night. Go like this. You know, all this show off. Go like this, 5 minutes until they finish putting the talit. Now, these Hasidim, they pray 10 minutes, finish. 10 to 1, I want to go home. Tomorrow I got to get up before 7. Last minyan. So he put talit, this, that. Now he starts. Now he doesn't pray according to their custom, even though there's a huge sign. Over here you pray like us. He pray with his Yemenite Sidur. So the Yemenite has extra parts of Tehillim. So he began to say his More Tehillim. And I see this Hasidim, anyway, they don't understand what he says. It's 2 different worlds. This guy from Russia and this guy from Yemen. Different culture. Half an hour. 20 minutes, 18 praise. They pull their payos off this. You know, they go crazy. Now, who's going to pay the price? Me. I'm the only one close to Yemenite. I'm half and half. They look at me like, who is this bum? After all that, I say to him, what's wrong with you? Why you make everyone now angry at you, this? What all this show off for? Pray short to the point, you know that? Or don't pray. Do it their way. Do you think it helped? A month later, I saw him somewhere in a shul in Mincha with a talit. Nobody puts talit in Mincha, no? He puts talit. We understand? So one time, we saw him, it was Erev Rosh Hashanah, Yom Rosh Hashanah, after the prayer in a day, one Persian guy was by me, and he saw him wearing his Yemenite kilt. So he thought it's Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak. So he thought, oh, Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak. He ran to him. Rabbi, give me bracha. He didn't understand. He started giving him bracha. He comes to me, he says, see, I saw Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak. I said, no, they all look with these white clothes and they look alike. It wasn't him. But what I'm trying to say is, enough with this show-off. Focus on what really is real. What's real is real. Not be in front of the people you tzaddik. When you're alone, you do completely different things. What is this show-off? Work that everything will be real. Not only when nice people are around you and you worry what they're going to say. You have to talk to Hashem all the time. You're in traffic, this, there. Well, if you sit in a subway and talk to Hashem, people think you're crazy, so they start moving away from you. So if you're not embarrassed, fine. But if you, by your car or by your home, or even when you walk in the street at night, nobody is there, what's the problem? Every minute you talk to Hashem is a huge mitzvah. And it's going to help a lot. Help my kid, help my son, help my daughter, help him in school, help her, help me to find him good shidur, help him to find... The more you talk, the more Hashem surrender to you. He say over there in Bedin Shalmala, hours of begging this guy did to me, hours. I have to give him what he wants, that's it. Every day talks to me. The power of the tefillah. And you think about what you do, and sometimes it makes you cry. Why it makes you cry? Because when you think about what you say, it breaks your heart. That's why people who don't understand Hebrew, they only understand English or Persian or Russian, pray in your own language. Better you pray in your language and understand the words than pray in a language of the Torah and you don't understand anything. Just read and want to finish. The best way is that you take a Siddur today, or today they have many Siddurim, they have next to it the English translation or Russian translation or whatever it is. And after a month, you'll know by heart what you're saying. That's really the best way. But if it didn't happen yet, it's better you talk to Hashem in a language that you understand, because otherwise just reading and you don't know what you say. Doesn't wake up the heart. The heart has to be waken up. Before we finished, the Torah says, "Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol mo'odecha." You should love Hashem with all your heart, all your soul, and all your money. The explanation that everybody knows is שיהיה שם שמיים נאהב על ידך. Rashi writes that the name of God and the respect, the honor of God will be loved by people thanks to you. They see how you behave, how you talk, how you do business, how, everything about you, such elegant and nice, with manners. They see the effect of the Torah on you, how you used to be and how you are now, so that people will feel, wow, look at this guy, since he became religious, he's a new person. That's 100% true, but there's another explanation to it. שיאהבו את השם כמו שאתה אוהב. Two explanations. First explanation, that the way you behave, people will know that this is the effect of the Torah and they would want to imitate you. The second explanation, that people will learn from you how to love Hashem. What's the best way to show Hashem that you love Him? Who knows? What's the best way? Who knows? Very good. Very smart. I didn't expect to get that first shot. Usually it takes 3 hours and people realize. The answer is to do what he loved the most. Right? What he loved the most. Let me give you a quick story you understand. A king has a son. His son went swimming in a lake and disappeared. The king has $1 billion. After his son disappeared somewhere in the middle of the lake, the $1 billion worth something for the king? Not anymore. If he had to get back his son by giving 990 million, would he give? He would give, no? He doesn't want to lose his son. His daughter, his son. He cares about his marriage that is good right now, that his son is lost? No. He cares about what dinner they'll serve him and what they're going to do tomorrow. Before he found out about his son, he cared about it. But now he doesn't care about anything, anything. What's the only thing in his mind? Where is my son? So if you went and found his son and saved him from the lake and brought it to him, what's going to be from now on your relationship with the king? The best in the country. No? If you want to sit by him for dinner, you'll be more, you don't need permission or 5 years to wait for an appointment. You are automatically the #1 citizen close to this king. It's needless to say. If one day you have a problem, and I don't know, the judge wants to give you a punishment, and the king found out, he comes to the judge, let him go. He wants to give him 20 years in prison, give him $20 penalty, let him go. Why, your majesty, but don't ask questions, let him go. Tomorrow you, chas v'shalom, sick in a hospital, they need a transplant of a kidney or a heart or anything like this. There's a huge list. The king called the hospital, you know this person? Make sure he's the first online. Yeah, but you know, there's 2,000 people in front of him. Don't ask question. Give it to him first. Tomorrow you want to extend your house, you need all kinds of permits. Say, I'm a friend of a king, I don't need. You build, they come, penalty, tickets, you come to the king, you see what they're doing to me? Who? Tell me who? This is it, what he said. You help Hashem by bringing his children back to him. This Moshe was lost with Christine, you get him out, you teach him, you give him CDs, he becomes Shomer Shabbat, one after the other. Yesterday, Monday night, I was in Queens. 3 young guys came, 21 years old. One of them comes, says, Rabbi, can I get more of these CDs? Which one of them you want? I want this, I want the one with Shabbat, I want the one with this. See, we all Shomer Shabbat now with the CD. So we heard many CDs in the past, but this one really shook us real good. I want to give all my friends, all my this, that. You have no idea how many people change by listening to this 25 hours of massive, high-level words of Torah of Hashem that shake up the heart of the people. There's never 100%. Don't expect 100%, because the evil inclination play a massive role here. But if you save 20 out of 100, it's not big. Not big. For $20 to save 20 souls, for $100, I'm sorry. It's not great, huh? If we had to take $10 million to save one Jew from execution in Texas, wouldn't we pick it up? We collect it? Sure we do. The rabbi will announce now in shul, $10 million, and they let the Jew go free. They won't chop his head off for electric chair. They'll collect the money. It happened in the past. What? To save one person that is not even religious, just to save his body. They'll do it. Right? They do it. Now, a few years ago, a Jew killed a cop by mistake. I don't know, he was shooting somewhere, the cop he killed him, they was waiting an execution, they were sending email every hour, and he wasn't even religious, and they were collecting a lot of money for him. Just to save a Jew. The body, it's a peel of a garlic. What is the body? The soul is divine. Saving a soul is a billion times better than saving a body for 20, 30, 70 years. People will give their life to save a body. I told you about that rabbi on Shabbat that was with me in a Shabbaton. In Motzei Shabbat, there was a Persian couple over there. And the woman came with a check to the rabbi, and I was standing next to him. I wasn't really paying attention. But she told me, Rabbi, no offense, I will also support your cause. She doesn't even know what my cause is. She knows it's Baalei Tshuva. She doesn't know it's CDs and this. I will also support your cause. But right now, this is much more urgent. Why? Because Motzei Shabbat, he showed the film about this poor family, how they get the food and how they cry to the camera. We didn't have what to eat. This rabbi gives us food. It saved us. This. He helped me to marry my daughter. A lot of interesting things he does. So he told her, because he's an honest man, When you're honest, you don't care ever about yourself, and you don't think what people would say about you. You only care about the truth. So he told her, no, ma'am, you are wrong. What he does is 1,000,000 times more important. I take care of people's bodies. He saved their souls. The soul is for eternity. I was too late. He had the check already. It's no problem. I didn't expect from her anything. No problem. Hashem takes care of the world. But just to show you how 99.99% of the people think. You tell them someone is about to die, body, they'll give their life for him. What do you want? I'll give him a kidney. Many people will come to give a stranger a kidney. Oh, he's a Jew. I have to save life. He has children. Let me do it. You tell them, give $10 to save his soul. Maybe you become Shomer Shabbat. No. I have other things right now. No, isn't it the truth? That's the truth. That's the sad truth. So he said right away, first shot, Baruch Hashem. Maybe you already heard some lectures in the past.
He listened to me.
He listened to me. Oh, now I got it. But at least he's honest. He's afraid to lie next to you. No, but the truth is, yes, he's right. Bringing Hashem back his children, that's a very good thing. It's also very good for your own children. Tomorrow your children are away from Hashem with all the evil inclination on the streets. You have a bigger chance that Hashem will have mercy on your children and save them from the drugs. Save them from the problems on the street. Save them from the internet. Save them from so many other problems that this world has. Why? Midah keneged midah. Measure for measure. The Gemara brings a story. Rabbi Nechunya chofer shichin. There was one person dig wells for water. When there was no rain, how you get water? You have to make you dig a hole in the ground until you get the spring water. Like a well. Like today, many houses have a well. So one time they came to him and say, your daughter fell in a hole. We cannot get her out. He said, I don't remember exactly the whole words of the Gemara, but there's one point that we can learn from that story. First hour, she came out, not yet. Second, no, go now and check, you see she's out. And they went and checked, and she was out. How did he know? He didn't have Google Earth. How did he know? Told him, how did you know? He said, it cannot be that a person who gave his life to dig holes for the public, that they'll have water, that they won't die from thirst, his daughter will die in a hole. Cannot be. In different way, maybe yes. But it's all measure for measure. You save 10 Jews from marrying 10 different Christines or Jennifers. So you got say. Whatever. Today every Jew is Christine and Jennifer and whatever you want. But the bottom line is, you save. There's no guarantee because there's other calculation in life. But the chances are much higher that your children will be protected. Any questions before we finish? Any question? Yes.
If you want to become more religious and you have children that are resistant to it, what do you do? How do you handle that?
Depend what ages they are.
13, 14.
It's very difficult in this age because a person is not clever enough to understand things. Sometimes you just need a lot of patience until they mature in their head and they're able to see the truth. Because sometimes in this age it's very difficult to show them the truth unless if it's a very spiritual soul that sometimes in this age they can see the truth. But the way with children is just like everybody else, is to bribe them as much as you can to see the truth. By giving them gifts.
If you want to become Shomer Shabbat,
no,
you
can't force it because they only will rebel against you. Forcing people in this generation with the chutzpah of the kids today usually will only get the opposite effect. The best way is to come to them with candy and sugar and milk. And the way it is, you want you want a car when you be 17? No problem, I'll make a deal. You start keeping Shabbat. You be Shomer Shabbat, when this age come, I'll buy you a car, if you can afford. You want this and this, you want to go on a trip to Israel with your friends, no problem. You do this and this and that. And the most important thing is to give them money and benefits to watch the CDs and to listen to them, to watch the Torah and Science mainly. If they're not interested, let them watch the debate. I learned something very interesting from a kid, 21 years old in Brooklyn, that was religious when he was a kid, and then something went wrong in yeshivot. They kicked him out, and he became a big criminal, and he doesn't want to hear from religion, and he hates religion, and he hates rabbis, and I don't want to tell you the story. And he has, I think, 13 brothers and sisters, and he's like a goy 100%. And he lives by his parents' basement, Mechalel Shabbat, doing laundry on Shabbat in his parents' ultra-Orthodox. Father has a beard all the way down to the floor, and he's with a washing machine on Shabbat, doesn't care, watch television, everything. Got to that point already. And his father called me, he said, I listened to you on the radio. I heard your show on the radio about Shabbat, and the one you describe as Mechalel Shabbat is exactly my son, he said. Now I'm thinking what to do. Should I throw him out of the house and whatever happened to save the other kids? Or I continue to pretend I don't see and my heart is burning? So I started to talk to him and say, not right the way to throw. That's the last option. Let's first try. He said, no, we tried everything with him. Doesn't want to hear. There's no way to talk to him. So I said to him, I'll send you a DVD. Let him watch. He started to laugh. What watch? He doesn't want to hear from Torah. So I said, I have an idea. Maybe we'll give him the debate. Debate is already not so much religion. It's like an argument between Christianity and Judaism. The rabbi against the priest. That's more curiosity here, He's curious. So I tell him, listen, I watched this debate. You have to see Rabbi, the priest. He gets curious. He'll start watch it. If he like it, we have a chance to push all the other CDs. And that's exactly what happened. I sent him the debate. He watched it first. He showed it to his son. His son agreed to watch. The next day, he called all his friends. They're all laughing in the basement, Dad. And then he said to him, really, I really liked it, this, that. So I said to him, okay, now it's an opportunity. I sent him the Torah and Science DVD. Right away, he watched it. Then I went to Canada. I was in Toronto, an hour away from Toronto. We had a seminar. Motzei Shabbat in a hotel, I check my messages. I see this guy left me a message. If he can call me tonight, it's better than tomorrow. I don't have time. I have to lecture tonight with people around me all the time. Couldn't call him. I came back to New York Monday night. Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, knocking on my door. My son went, he saw a man with a black hat, long beard. What does he think? Tzedakah. Call me Abba Tzedakah. I come to the door. Now remember, I only spoke to him on the phone. I never saw him face to face. I don't know who he is. I'm reaching my hand to my pocket. He said, no, not Tzedakah. I am the one. Grabbed my hand, kissing, hugging me, crying. You should see. I'm telling you, I wish I had a camera in my house. Just to show it to the world. How a father behaved when his son came back to life. I grabbed him to my library room. What, this? You're not going to believe what happened. He watched the Torah and Science DVD. Shabbat. That Shabbat he called me from the excitement. He kept the whole Shabbat with us. Came to shul, sat with us in the meals, everything. He kept the whole Shabbat. Yesterday morning he told me, Abba, take me to Eichler's, a store in Brooklyn, sell Judaica and books. I said, well, what do you have to do in Eichler's? Telling you, a week ago, it was like a goy. A goy, a goy. Jail, problem, drugs, anything you can imagine. So he said to him, no, take me, don't ask questions. He took him, he bought tzitzit, he bought tehillim, he bought sidur. Then the next in Brooklyn, I said, bring him. He said, he has to go to be checked by an officer over there in Bronx. He has to get up very early. I don't know if he's going to come. I talked to him on the phone. All of a sudden, he showed up. Came to the lecture, even though it was until late at night. And is a newborn Jew. But this time, from knowledge up to the age he became secular, I was all pushing it and forcing him, and he didn't feel connection. Once it's settled in the head, the knowledge that Hashem runs the world and He is watching you, and the Torah is 100% divine, and don't let all the crooks out there fool you. There are thousands of crooks in the internet who criticize the proof, and I promise you, I went over one by one, carefully. All lies. All lies. I showed the fish and the scales, the fins and the scales about the fish. So there's one crook that's making fun of the rabbis in the internet. So he take a part of my Torah and science. The rabbis say that the Torah say that everything that have fins, that everything that have scales must have fins. And if not, the whole Torah is not divine. Here, let me show you an animal that has scales and doesn't have fins. He show an animal that doesn't live in the ocean. Yeah, it goes into the ocean like a crocodile, in and out. But the Torah speaks about everything who lives all the time in the water. And whatever have scales that you can scrape and they fall off, and I say that clearly, will always have fins, guarantee. What is he show some kind of a leopard that have supposedly skin that look like scales? Snake also look like scales. Every fool knows that snakes have scales and they don't have fins. Who's going to write this in a book? If you want to claim that a person wrote the Torah, right? A person wrote the Torah. Do you know a person that doesn't know that millions of snakes, all of them have skin that looks like scales? Who talked about this kind of scales? We're talking about the scales that the fish has. You scrape them, they fall off. Otherwise, you don't need to be God. Every person knows it, that the snakes don't have fins. What? You know any person in the world that doesn't know that snakes have scales and don't have fins? One person in the world, you know? So what, Hashem is worse than all the people in the world? They are smarter than him. But how he fooled the people? By confusing the people. And already many young people came to me. You see how he criticized what you show? They're not listening. They're not paying attention. And that's how they fool the people. I promise you, don't ever be fooled by all this nonsense. Every one of the proof that is showed in the seminars was checked from all directions by the smartest people you have in the Jewish world. None of them can be criticized. Also the codes, they try to pretend all kinds of things with the codes. It's in other books, don't believe them. We're speaking about minimal equals skip, minimal. They are not speaking about minimal. They speak about random codes, it's not the same. Minimal means everything is concentrated in one page. You see it's planned. Random can be everywhere. Of course, random you can find many things. Minimal means 30 words connects to the same subject in the same page. That cannot be coincidence. But they're not telling you one word. Everything they say the same. One word they take out, it changes everything. They say equal mathematical skip, but they don't say minimal. And everyone is fooled by them. You see? They found in different books. What did they find? In one page, all the words in one page? Of course not. You understand? So everything is people who are doing everything they can to bring people down with them to Gehinnom, to hell. Why? When everyone burns together, you feel better. I'm not alone here in Auschwitz. Everyone is with me, so we help one another. You know how they say in Israel, Tzarat Rabim Chatzi Nechama. Problems to many others, it's half comfort for me. And the answer to these fools are, Tzarat Rabim, problems for many others, it's comfort to the fools. Nechama tipshim. Not Chatzi Nechama. Only the fool is comfort himself by other people's agony and pain. If you went to be a doctor, you learned 7 years and then you go to the final exam and you fail, and then you are the first one. They read, Moshe Cohen, 40. Fail. Has to go a whole thing again. Yitzhak Levi, 42. Also fail. Yitzhak Leibovich, 31. Everyone failed. I'm not the only fool. But really, if you think about it, did it change your future that they also fail? Why does it help you? Everyone goes to his direction. You're not going to be a doctor. You work for so many years learning. You fail. You have to cry for your situation. What makes you feel better than another 30 people also in the garbage like you? What makes you feel? That's the way of the Satan, to make a person feel great about being a loser. But someone who knows Hashem knows my situation has nothing to do with the world. For me, the world is me and Hashem, that's it. Me, my wife, my children, and Hashem, nothing else, and my rabbi. How many with you in your life that your life really affected by them? Your wife, your children, your parents, your rabbi, and that's just about it. You have 1 or 2 good friends. It's very hard to find good friends in these days. But that's it, 10 people, group of 10 people. And the rest of the world, what do I have with them? What do I have with them? I have to focus on my own eternity. Imen anili mili. If I'm not going to take back my soul, nobody will do the job. If you think that after you die, your children will help you in the afterlife, think again. They'll take your millions and go to the party in Manhattan and buy a new red Porsche. They won't care so much about your soul. Maybe they pretend for the community that they care about Yortzeit or Kaddish. Maybe. And if they're really good kids, so they do a little more for you. But that's just about it. And you're going to be there mute. You're not going to be able to tell them, Moshe, $1 million to the yeshiva, $2 million for the CDs, you fool! What are you doing, Christine, in a party in Manhattan? You're killing me here. It's too late. Too late. You missed the train, my friend. That's what people don't understand. Everything I told you is in the name of the Torah, of course. Any more questions? Yes.
You said that if you give a tzedakah, you should be worried if you get it back right away.
If you get it right away. It's too clear that you got right away.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, why then does God say, give tzedakah, and that's the only mitzvah He permits you to test Him?
Yeah, first
of words, I'll show you. It says,
no.
I'll show you right away.
Maser, the 10%. If you be persistent on the 10%, you will give 10% from your net income. Some say it has to be 20%, but between 10 and 20. Then in the long run, you will reach wealth, guarantee. But people don't have patience. People want to give now, and within a week, they want to make double. Or, you understand? The point is, Hashem promised, in the long run, you make the wealth. But not right away. And people forget, after 2 or 3 years that they do it, they say, I gave checks, what did he give me? Nothing. And they lower. Plus, I tell you something. In my opinion, there's not even 1% of the religious Jews that give 10%. From dealing with the public for 17 years, and the rabbi on this Shabbaton, which is a very big collector of tzedakah. I'm not a collector of tzedakah. I don't go to people, give me, go to businesses, make meetings. No, I don't do fundraising, no dinners, don't sell anything, don't sell candles, bottles, make dinner for my yeshiva, none of this thing. So I'm not an expert in collecting, but he already is an expert. He told me, I agree with you 1,000,000%. Almost nobody give 10% from his income. Nobody. Maybe the poor people, because it's not that much. It's $100, $200 a month, so they give. But the real wealthy people, he made $10 million a year net. He didn't give $1 million tzedakah. He gave 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, $500,000. Wow, he's already killing himself. $500,000 I gave checks. He didn't give 10%. Most people don't give. And yeah, it looks like they give a lot, because here you hear them in a shul, you hear them here in fundraising, in dinners, you hear them, but you don't really know how much they make. You saw them giving $1 million. Did you know they made 50 million this year? You don't know. You saw the $1 million they gave, so it looks very much. A person that doesn't make any money, he gave 20,000 this year, it's already more than him, percentage-wise. So in the end, Hashem knows who give what. Many people only give with their mouth. Remember, they kiss the Torah with their hands, and they give tzedakah with their mouth. It should be the other way around. They give tzedakah with the hand, and kiss the Torah with their mouth, the way it should be. Any more questions? From the men, maybe? To make shivyon zchuyot? Seper, you don't have any questions? Usually you have 5 questions a minute. Today you mute. Mute today? Okay. That means it was a good lecture. I answered all your questions. Thank you, Rabbi Lavian. Thank you for organizing it. Thank you for everything. Thank you for coming. Hope to see you soon again. Baruch Adonai L'olam. Amen v'amen. You have free CDs right here. Please take. Thank you.